Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for Cash Tag, so let's bring in our next guest. It's going to be Landon Swan. He's a co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thanks. Great to be here.
All right, so we're talking about a stock. It's actually down today when the market's up, but Meta Platforms had a pretty good year so far, up 43%. Landon, I was looking at this stock about just over a year and a half ago. This stock was trading $88. I think we talked about it on the show quite a bit. It's up over 470% from those levels. But do you have the data that backs it up? Because it seems like the investments that Meta is making, pushing away from the metaverse, going more into AI, and digital advertising has just exploded recently. So that's probably helped, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's I think it's 98% of their revenue is digital advertising. So it's all about how can they get those eyeballs, and the answer so far has been Reels. I mean, that's what's driving growth. It's about 60% of time spent on both Facebook and Instagram, and so that's what's really doing well. It's what's driving growth. I think that TikTok kind of showed everybody what that short form, quick scrolling type of addictive media can do for a company, and so Facebook has done a great job of copying that and integrating it into their platforms. And now they're trying to figure out a way, Facebook specifically, trying to figure out a way to get the Reels combined with the long form video, combined with, the live video, all of it living together. They're working on that. But right now, I think they're just really riding the backs of that Reels program. It's actually the most popular when it comes to happiness. That's the highest scoring number we've got across all the different types of social media. So doing really well there. But yeah, it's all about that digital advertising and figuring out where to put their money, what's winning, what's not winning. Last earnings call, they talked a little bit of too much maybe about what wasn't working, and investors didn't like to hear how they're burning money on things that aren't great, like the metaverse or the AR glasses. But it's a stock, it tanked like 20%, something like that, but it's completely filled that gap now, trading above those levels. I think it was around 495 or so going into those earnings. We're above that clearly now. I think they've recovered, and everyone knows that they're making money off digital advertising. So yeah, the data that we have is, it mildly supports these levels. It's basically just saying that everyone loves the products that they're putting out. Very high happiness, high growth, and obviously the data that they're putting out is agreeing with that. So we like Meta going forward. I would much prefer it at a little bit lower price. I think it's getting up there a little bit, but they are the leader, and they're doing a great job of holding that lead. I mean, you can see here, how well they're comparing. Throw Snapchat in there, and you can see what things could be if they were going the wrong way. So Meta's hanging in there, and so far, I think the price is mostly justified. He's getting a little rich at these levels.
Yeah, Landon, it appears, the sell-off in the stock on earnings was because what they said without saying it was the year of efficiency is over, right? And we're going back to big CapEx spending. And oh, by the way, without really showing a lot of growth from the big CapEx spending. We're all talking about the future, and their advantage in social media advertising is clear, right? I mean, their ability on Facebook to target exactly who they want to get is incredible, and is basically made them the company that they are. But Landon, they have trouble monetizing some of these things, right? And this AI bet, what we're starting to see play out here, the secondary topic is, how do you monetize AI? And they've done it in Facebook. They're trying to figure it out in Reels and in Instagram. How are they going to monetize this? Because that's what I think the question is going forward. And by the way, Tom, here's the stat. September 2022, trading at a 12.9 PE ratio, now a 29 PE ratio.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a significant increase.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 150% increase in PE ratio. That's big. And if you also go back a little bit and think about when TikTok was dominating, 2020, 2021 in that area, and Facebook really didn't have an answer. Instagram didn't have an answer. They were still what they were before then. And I think a lot of investors were worried that, TikTok was so addictive and it grabbed so many eyeballs that Facebook and Instagram were going to go on the back burner. But of course, Meta had the answer, and they basically copied that format, and that's Reels, and they're doing extremely well with it. So it just took them a little while. But that's the great thing about Meta is when you're the market leader, you can take a little bit longer time. You can see what else is out there, what works, and you can copy it basically, or you can buy it out if it's small enough. So I have confidence that they're going to figure out how to monetize AI. I don't know what the answer is, but I do believe that they're going to figure it out. Or if they don't figure it out, someone else will, and they'll copy it. And that's just as good. It'll just be maybe a year or two late, right? That's what's going on with Reels. And so because of their size, they have that, I guess, ability to sit back and, even though they're spending a lot of money, they can sit back, see what works, and then, apply it to their millions and millions of users. And it's going to be a home run no matter what. So I do like that they're trying a lot of different things. I also like that they're recognizing when something doesn't work, and maybe spending less on that, and figuring out what does work. So they're just in a really strong position. Again, it's a little rich up in these PE levels. I'd much rather see it pull back 450 or so, then I might be a buyer, but not here. But I do think the data that we have justifies their current position.
Yeah, and that Citi note came out and highlighted the fact that Reels digital advertising load tracker year to date increasing. So they're showing good traction there according to Citigroup's data points. But Landon, is this all about the eyeballs? You mentioned that at the open of this segment with Facebook, 3 million monthly active users in there? Or is that 3 million or billion? B as in billion. And Instagram and WhatsApp, is that the key here is, hey, we're in an election year. Digital ad spend is not going to pull back. The market's at all-time highs, so they're in a good environment where we could see some more gains, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, they're pretty, even though they're diversified, again, their revenue is almost all digital advertising. So if they can figure something else out in the future, that's going to be huge for them. But right now, I don't think it's a problem. I mean, they've got so many eyeballs, like you said, election year, so that's gonna be a positive for them through November. But yeah, once they figure out that other revenue source, like if one day digital advertising is 80 or 85% of revenue, and they've got something else that's shipping in 15 or 20%, I think then you're talking a bigger PE ratio. Then you're saying, okay, this can, we've got a second company basically here. So right now it's all about digital advertising. They're the dominant player, and half the world is on them on a monthly basis on one of their platforms. It's an incredible position that they're in. Again, it's justified where they're at. I think it's getting a little stretched, but if you fast forward 3, 4, 5 years from now, they figured out a way to monetize AI. They figured out another revenue source, and all of a sudden, 500's in the rearview mirror. So I can see this being a big winner over the next 4 or 5 years. But right now, I'd prefer buying on a pullback just because it is a little bit rich.
All right, great stuff, great data as always, and I think Kevin's example trade's going to